A former firefighter who held one of the most senior positions in the country has told ITV News a toxic culture within the service drove him to attempt suicide. Rob Davis was second in command at Avon Fire and Rescue, which covers Bristol, Bath and Weston-super-Mare. But he says he reached crisis point after challenging sexual harassment and bullying within the organisation. His claims about the toxic culture were supported by employees at the service, past and present, who raised similar concerns and allegations with us. Our UK editor, Paul Brand, has spent a year investigating the culture of fire services across the country and has our special report.
I feel as though I've wasted 30 years of my life. It's tainted me so much. I feel embarrassed when people say to me now, "What did you do when you were working?" I said, "I was a firefighter." I feel embarrassed to say that, and that's not right.
It's not that Rob Davis isn't proud of the lives he's saved. He just never expected to need rescuing himself from a service where he was the second most senior.
Working in that environment of overt bullying, of aggressive behaviour, sexual harassment claims that, in my eyes, been brushed under the carpet.
Everything then bursts into flames.
As Assistant Chief Fire Officer for the Avon region, Rob says for years he was ignored when he tried to fix that culture. Now he wants to tell you how broken it left him.
So, it's quite difficult to talk about, but...
I understand that. I'm sorry, lad.
Excuse me.
No, it's okay. It's okay. Take your time.
So, dedicating my life to an organisation, dedicating my career to being a firefighter and officer, I took really seriously. I worked hard. I thought I worked hard. I think I did good. But I felt raising some of these issues, no one was listening to me, and for that not to be listened to, even in a shred of listening to, got me to a crisis point.
In October 2019, it was Rob's family dialing 999 after he almost took his own life.
That day I had enough. The black hole literally just consumed me, and I walked out the door, left my mobile phone on the table to end the pain, really. And the thing that stopped me was my son and my wife. Was how would my wife explain to my son, because of a job, at the end of the day, a job had destroyed your dad to the point where you've no longer got a dad.
Rob saw no option but to leave. Now he can't watch as those who still remain repeatedly defend the culture of the services they lead across the country.
I don't accept that we have a problem.
You knew about the alleged rape, correct?
Yes.
You knew about the promotion, correct?
Yes.
I really do believe they are isolated cases, but I'm not complacent.
And yet, time and time again, our investigations uncover similar stories.
The whole time I worked there, it felt like I always had to prove myself more than my male colleagues.
These two women have both been employed by Avon Fire and Rescue Service. Their heroic work must be hidden, terrified to reveal their identities because who they are has already cost them, amid a culture, they allege, of misogyny and harassment.
I went for a promotion and there was somebody that had actually sexually harassed me that I was in front of on the promotion panel, basically suggesting sexual favours in exchange for help around the promotion process.
And then he sat on your promotion panel?
Yes.
So the man who was asking you for sex got to decide whether or not you got that job?
Yes.
How did that make you feel?
It made me feel helpless, if I'm really honest. I was in a really bad place about it for a very long time.
Do you think you missed out on that job because you wouldn't sleep with him?
Probably. They have the power to control your career. I mean, I knew I wasn't going to get the job because when I refused his advances, he completely just ignored me.
Why do you want to speak out?
Because I feel complicit. I feel complicit in many things that I know about, and I haven't been courageous enough to talk about. I've talked about some things and I haven't talked about others. I've watched colleagues suffer, and I desperately want this service to move forward in a good way.
For Rob, moving forward means moving elsewhere. He works abroad now in war zones and on rescue missions.
Rob, check.
Still saving lives, but no longer questioning his own.
Gosh, Paul, that was a very difficult watch, wasn't it? What have Avon Fire and Rescue said in response?
Well, we partly anticipated their response, Mary, which has been to say that things have changed since Rob Davies left 2 years ago, which is why we were so keen to speak to current members of staff too, who say, no, they haven't, not significantly. The service does have a new fire chief who was appointed last year. He's put out a statement this evening saying inappropriate behaviour won't be tolerated. He's already commissioned a review of the complaints process around all of this and that improvements will be made. But we've routinely heard in our reporting over the past 10 months from chief fire officers who've argued that there isn't a cultural issue, that these are isolated incidents, which is why it's so powerful hearing from Rob in that report. He sat at that top table and he's telling us tonight those managers are in denial. There is a broader problem here, a deep-rooted problem here, and we've featured now 6 services in detail on ITV News, and in all of them we've heard from women who argue that yes, firefighting is a physical job, but that physicality should not include having to rebut the unwanted advances of their male colleagues.
It's a lot of isolated incidents, isn't it, Paul?
Exactly.
Thank you.